So this time we're going to look at the 5 stamp storage. Okay, this is one done in the 350 GSM cardstock from Pink Frog, and I'm going to use the craft as well. So just showing you different colourways. This one's been decorated with papers, but if I get 5 of my stamp folders, they fit nicely in there. So the 5 one I created because we have 5 of the word stamps, so these fit beautifully in here. So if you like to keep all your word stamps together, the 5 that we did for the memory folios and the memory books, you can keep them all together. So when I go off to my scrapbooking crop or to a workshop or class, I've got them all together. Okay, so let me share with you how we're going to do this. So we're going to do a bit of cutting first. So you're going to need a piece of A3 and a piece of A4 for this in the craft. I'm using craft. You can use, as I say, 350 GSM. So I'm going to cut the A4 piece at 21.5 by 13. So just check your measurements. So that's okay. So is that 21? No, so that's 21. Okay, so I'm going to go 13 down here on the long way. So that's 13 centimetres. Okay, and then 21.5. Okay, and that's for your top of your pocket. And then I need to cut my A3 to 32.5 centimetres by 29.5 centimetres. So the width, or the shortest part, is 29.5, so that's absolutely fine. So the length I'm going to cut down to 32.5 centimetres. And your scraps you've got left, as you know, you'll use them for card making projects. You know, you're going to use them. So I'm going to put my piece from the A4 that we cut down to one side, because we won't need that until the end. Bring my scoreboard in, and on the longest side, and the longest side is going to be your 22.5 centimetre piece. Lost my score tool already. There it is. I don't know whether you're anything like me, get in the craft room and I end up working in a small space because I've got so much on my table, but never mind, we'll get by. So this is the long piece at the top. So this is your 32.5 centimetre at the top. So on the long side, you're going to score at 2 centimetres. 5.5 centimetres, 27 centimetres, and 30.5 centimetres. Okay, let me just recap. So you're going to do on the long side 2 centimetres, 5.5 centimetres, 27 centimetres, and 30.5 centimetres. Now you're going to do a quarter turn, and this is now your short side. So this is your 29.5 centimetre side, and on this side you're going to do 1.5 centimetres. And if it doesn't go all the way down, don't panic, because we'll flip it in a minute. So 1.5 centimetres, 5 centimetres, 20.5 centimetres, and 24 centimetres. So let me recap that for you. So on the short side, you're doing 1.5 centimetres, 5 centimetres, 20.5 centimetres, and 24 centimetres. Okay, now I need to flip this over because I couldn't quite go to the bottom because it was too long. So I'm doing the 1.5 again, the 5, the 20.5 and the 24. Okay, move my scoreboard so we can do some burnishing. Okay, so we can fold these over. So fold them over as you wish. Get these all over, and do remember to burnish your scores. So just take your time with this because the 350 is a little bit firmer if you're not used to it, if you've been doing your card making. So just take your time. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do. Dawn at dawnsinspirations.com. You'll see everything that's going on crafty there. I share lots of projects, gives you ideas on finished samples. I share a lot of the design teams. If I've been on telly, I share their projects on there, so you get ideas of how you can finish yours off as well. So that is all now scored. Okay, so we're going to start doing some snipping. So this part here, this is going to be your top flap. So you've got a bigger part and a narrower part. The bigger part is going to be your top flap. So we're going to cut straight down to the second score line. Okay, and take that chunk out. I'm doing straight cuts. So that's coming out, and then I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. I'll lay it all out and share with you again so you can see exactly what I've done. I know some people like to watch the video first and then craft along with me the second time round, which is always a good idea. So this is going to be your top flap. These are your side pieces. Okay, so we're going to take this snip to there. And I'm going to have a little mitre just so it folds in nicely. So that corner is going to look like that. So you've got your flat corner, and then you've got your corner here with your tiny little mitre. Okay, and I'm going to do exactly the same on this side. So snip up. Go straight there. Do your tiny little mitre. It just means when you're folding this up, because this is 350 GSM, it just means it folds in and looks nice and neat. Okay. Okay, so this is what you're going to have. See that on camera. So when it all goes together, these are going to fold up here. This is coming over here. That's going to be your lid. And then you're going to have your piece that goes on the top as well. Okay, and that's as easy as that is. So now let's start putting our red line tape on. So on this one, I'm going to put some red line tapes. I'm going to go in again with my 12mm. So I'm going to do the two edges of the piece I've cut. Okay. In fact, let me move all these little pieces out the way so we don't get confused. So they're on there. I'll burnish those shortly. Okay. Right, I'm going to turn this over because I'm going to put a strip down here. So I'm going close to the edge. Now I'm using 2mm, and you can see I've just got a tiny little gap. So, not 2mm, 12mm. So I've got a tiny little gap. So if you've got narrower red line tape, you can go ahead and do it with narrow red line tape. All you've got to remember is to, you'll need a couple of rows. Okay, and then I'm putting a piece on here. Now you could use your glue. And there's no problem about using glue. I'm using red line tape so I can put this together to show you. You could quite easily go in with your EVA glue. You're just going to have to wait, obviously, for it to grab. So I'm just doing red line tape here for quickness. But yes, you can quite easily use your glue as well, if anybody's thinking about that. Okay, so I'll give these a little burnish. So this is the outside. So if you were going to stamp directly onto this, this is the stage you would stamp directly onto this before we put it together. If you're thinking about adding pattern papers, again, I would say this is the stage to add your pattern papers before you put it together. Okay, only because it's a lot easier. If you want to add just your panels of different decorative card, put it on now while it's flat. It's a lot easier. The other thing I'm going to do is go in with my corner rounder again. I'll just corner round to the flap so we know that is the flap, and we can start putting this together. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is our corners. So I've given those all a good burnish. So let's take the red line tape off these. This is a plain ball today. There we go. Got my microfiber cloth on my desk tidy next to me. I'm going to do the same on this one. There we go. And we're going to pop this up so you get a nice square finish. And also when you've done it, just go in and give that a little burnish to push the glue into the fibres of your cardstock. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do. And you can join Pink Frog's Inspirations over on Facebook. All the design team are over there, and you'll see news of shows that are coming up, new products, any ideas. Share your makes. We love to see what you make. I've taken the tape off the bottom one here, and I'm just going to put that over as well to make a nice square. Okay, and I'm going to put a little bit more red liner just on those ends, because when this goes on top I'm going to have a gap. In fact, actually I could put a bit of glue. Let's put a bit of glue, because this red liner tape is going to come over so far. It's just there's going to be a little square that's going to miss some. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue. That's absolutely fine. Lid on my glue, and then remove the red liner tape from these two pieces. Okay, and then just take your time lining it all up. See, that's as easy as it is. And then I like to just put my hand in with my bone folder and just give that a little burnish, just so that red line tape can stick in. So there you go, that is your 5 stamp storage. So let me put my 5 stamps in here. So there we go, they're all in, fit nicely. You could do a ribbon closure if you like. You could put a magnet, but I find when these are on my craft shelf all stacked up, you don't need it. Okay, so that's your 5 storage. Let me share some finished ones with you. So the lovely Heather's done this one with decorative papers. So I'm sure you've got lots of decorative papers out there. She's done another one here with papers, but with a bit of ribbon onto it. So you can always add a little ribbon closure as well, if you wish. So it's a nice way, if you've got those lovely Graphic 45 papers, you know, the ones we keep stroking and we can't part with, it's quite a nice way to decorate your craft room storage, because then you can see it all the time on display. And here's another one done with the craft. Again, this is Graphic 45 paper made by Karen. So lots of different ideas. You can stamp on them with your Pink Frog stamps. You could just put your coloured card on them. The choice is yours. But this is your 5 stamp storage folder. And I will see you soon. Bye for now.